Today, we will talk about organizational culture. Listen carefully to this lecture because we will have questions at the end of the lecture. In class agenda, these are the topics that we will talk about in this chapter. We need to talk about organizational culture. Why do some organizations have different cultures than others? This includes culture components, general culture types, specific culture types, culture strength, maintaining an organizational culture, and changing an organizational culture. Also, we need to answer this question: how important is organizational culture? And last one is managing socialization.
Okay, now we will start with organizational culture. In previous chapters, we provided definitions of important topics, including organizational culture. However, there are numerous definitions of organizational culture, with over 50 different ones resulting from research. The term culture holds various meanings for different people. Definitions range from broad descriptions, like the way we do things around here, to more complex explanations. The diverse definitions of organizational culture arise from different study approaches. Like, sociologists examine culture using a broad perspective and anthropological research methods, while psychologists often use surveys to study culture and its impact on individuals. Some psychologists prefer using the term climate instead of culture. For our purposes, we will use the terms interchangeably. So, in this chapter, we define organizational culture as the shared social knowledge within an organization, encompassing the rules, norms, and values that influence the attitudes and behaviors of its employees. As you see, the definition of organizational culture highlights several key aspects. Firstly, culture is the social knowledge shared among members of an organization. So, employees acquire this knowledge through various means, including explicit communication, observation, and implicit methods. Secondly, culture is a shared understanding, indicating that there is a degree of consensus among organization members regarding what the culture entails. It encompasses the rules, norms, and values that guide employees' behavior and decision making. Culture influences aspects such as work priorities, appropriate conduct, and even behaviors outside of work. Lastly, organizational culture plays a role in shaping and reinforcing employee attitudes and behaviors by establishing a system of control. Research suggests that individuals' personal goals and values tend to align with those of the organization they work for over time. This alignment can be attributed to the significant amount of time employees spend within the organizational context. Okay, now we need to talk about cultural components. What are the major components of organizations' culture? Well, when people ask about your workplace, their question is often aimed at understanding what the organizational culture is like. Your response to this question can provide insights into the essence of the organization's culture. In formulating your answer, you might consider describing the types of individuals who work at your company. Additionally, you may focus on portraying the typical work environment on a regular day, discussing aspects such as the physical facilities or the treatment of employees. You might even touch upon how success is defined within your organization. So, all of these responses offer indications that help outsiders grasp the actual experience of being part of the company. To fully appreciate the range of potential answers to the question, "What's it like there?" it becomes necessary to delve deeper into the various facets of organizational culture. As you see, organizational culture consists of three primary components, which are observable artifacts, espoused values, and basic underlying assumptions. These components can be likened to the layers of an onion, as illustrated in this figure. Some aspects of culture are readily noticeable and observable, similar to the outer skin of an onion. However, other components are less apparent to those outside or new to the organization. External observers can gather information, interpret it, and form conclusions based on what they observe on the surface. So, the true essence of the culture remains concealed until they delve deeper and uncover the values and assumptions that lie beneath. For instance, Walter Robb, the former CEO of Whole Foods, highlighted the significance of empowerment in his company's success, stating that it forms a strong cultural foundation. The subsequent sections provide a more detailed examination of these culture components. Anyway, we will talk about each component in some detail in the following slides.
Okay, the first component is observable artifacts. Observable artifacts are visible and tangible elements of an organization's culture that employees can perceive and discuss. These artifacts play a crucial role in guiding employees' behavior and conveying the organization's values to various stakeholders, including current and potential employees, customers, shareholders, and investors. There are 6 major types of artifacts, which are symbols, physical structures, language, stories, rituals, and ceremonies. I will talk about each type in some detail. Symbols are prevalent throughout an organization and can range from corporate logos to employee uniforms. For example, Nike's iconic swoosh symbolizes speed and movement, reflecting the company's culture of innovation. Physical structures, such as the layout of the workplace, also convey information about the organization's culture. So, an open and inclusive workspace may indicate a collaborative culture, while a hierarchical structure with separate sections for top management suggests a more traditional and formal culture. Also, we have language. Language including jargon, slang, and slogans used within the organization reflects its unique culture. For instance, specific terms like CTR and CPC are commonly used at Yahoo and have specific meanings related to online advertising. Stories means passed down within the organization, are narratives that highlight important values or experiences. These stories can shape employees' understanding of the company's culture and values. Like Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks, he shared a story about improving quality by prohibiting the re-steaming of milk, which led to innovative solutions from store managers. Also, there is rituals. Rituals are planned routines that occur regularly in an organization. They can range from casual practices like enjoying a beer in the tasting room after work at New Belgium Brewing to more formal practices like mandatory meetings at UPS. These rituals reinforce cultural norms and values. Last one is ceremonies. Ceremonies are formal events performed in front of an audience of organizational members. For example, at Care.com, former CEO Sheila Marcello implemented a yearly desk rotation ceremony to promote change, collaboration, and cross-team understanding. Overall, these observable artifacts are essential for shaping and transmitting an organization's culture to its workforce and external stakeholders. They provide valuable insights into the organization's values, norms, and expectations, influencing employee behavior and perceptions. Okay. The second one is espoused values. Espoused values are the beliefs, philosophies, and norms that a company openly communicates and states. These values can be expressed through various means, such as vision or mission statements, verbal statements by executives and managers, or published documents. It is important to differentiate between espoused values and enacted values, as the latter refers to the actual behaviors and actions exhibited by employees in line with the stated values. However, it is crucial for a company to consistently uphold its espoused values in practice, regardless of the circumstances it faces. So, this consistency enhances the credibility of the values among both employees and external observers. Economic downturns can present challenges for companies to adhere to their stated values, as cost-cutting measures may contradict the espoused values. Like Marriott International, despite facing economic downturns, maintains its espoused value of treating its employees well, even if it means avoiding cuts that would harm employee benefits. This commitment is in line with J.W. Marriott's founding philosophy that prioritizes taking care of associates, who in turn take care of guests. On the other hand, not all companies openly disclose their values. Like Trader Joe's, a grocery chain known for its customer-oriented approach, is secretive about its business practices. So, suppliers are required to sign agreements prohibiting them from disclosing any information related to their business relationship with the store. In summary, espoused values are the explicitly stated beliefs and norms of a company. It is crucial for companies to align their actions with these values consistently, even in challenging times. The examples of Whole Foods, Marriott International, Stripe, and Trader Joe's provide insights into the significance of espoused values and their impact on organizational behavior and culture. Okay, this is an example for the espoused values of Whole Foods. Whole Foods Market provides examples of outward representations of its espoused values, as illustrated in the table. Each statement reveals what Whole Foods cares about and values as a company, such as we sell the highest quality natural and organic foods, we satisfy and delight our customers, and we promote team member growth and happiness. The company believes that these values set it apart from competing organizations, show others why Whole Foods is a great place to work, and will always be the reasons for the company's existence, regardless of how large it grows. Okay, the third type of cultural components is basic underlying assumptions. Basic underlying assumptions are deeply ingrained beliefs and philosophies within an organization that employees act upon without questioning their validity. So, these assumptions form the deepest and least observable part of a company's culture, and they may not be consciously apparent even to long-term employees. Like Edgar Schein, a prominent scholar on organizational culture, gives an example of safety in an engineering firm. Safety is an underlying assumption in the field of engineering, where it is taken for granted that designs should prioritize safety. The hidden beliefs represented by these underlying assumptions have a significant impact on employee behavior and attitudes. So, they shape how employees act and react in various situations. These underlying assumptions are also highly enduring and resistant to change, making them challenging to modify within an organizational culture. Okay, now we need to talk about general culture types. The typology divides organizational culture along the dimensions of solidarity and sociability. This helps to categorize cultures based on two key factors. 1. Solidarity. This dimension pertains to the degree to which group members within an organization think and act alike. High solidarity suggests a strong sense of unity and similarity in attitudes, values, and behaviors among the members. In such cultures, there is a common understanding and alignment in how individuals within the group perceive and approach various aspects of work and organizational life. In case of low solidarity, on the other hand, implies diversity or divergence in thinking and actions among group members. In such cultures, there may be a greater range of perspectives, attitudes, and behaviors within the organization. 2. Is sociability. Sociability represents how friendly and social employees are with each other within the organization. High sociability indicates a culture where there is a strong emphasis on interpersonal relationships, collaboration, and a friendly atmosphere. So, employees in such cultures are likely to engage in social interactions, teamwork, and mutual support. But if there is low sociability, it suggests a more reserved or individualistic culture where interpersonal interactions may be less emphasized and employees may focus more on individual tasks and responsibilities. So, by considering both solidarity and sociability, this typology provides a framework for understanding and categorizing different organizational cultures. For example, a culture with high solidarity and high sociability might be characterized by strong teamwork and a friendly atmosphere. In contrast, a culture with low solidarity and low sociability might be more diverse in thinking and less focused on extensive social interactions. These dimensions help in describing the social dynamics and cohesion within an organization. Okay, now, if you are considering an organization's observable artifacts, espoused values, and underlying assumptions, we can classify its culture along different dimensions as you see in this chart. Various researchers have developed typologies to describe organizational cultures. One popular typology divides cultures based on 2 dimensions, as we explained this in last slide, which are solidarity and sociability. Solidarity refers to the extent to which group members think and act similarly, while sociability reflects the friendliness and interpersonal relationships among employees. This figure provides a depiction of organizations classified as high or low on these dimensions. For example, in fragmented cultures, organizations low on both solidarity and sociability have a fragmented culture where employees are distant and disconnected from one another. Mercenary cultures, organizations where employees think alike but lack friendliness can be categorized as mercenary cultures. So, these environments tend to be politically driven with a focus on individual self-interest. Next, we have networked cultures. Cultures where employees are friendly but think differently and work independently fall under networked cultures. Many highly creative organizations exhibit this type of culture. Last one is communal cultures. It means that organizations with friendly employees who also think alike are communal cultures. So, these cultures often emerge in small organizations centered around the owner or founder. As organizations grow, there is a tendency to transition from communal to networked cultures due to the challenges of maintaining solidarity in larger groups. It's important to note that although culture is often perceived as stable, it can change over time.
Okay. Now we need also to talk about specific culture types. You need to know that organizations' culture can be classified based on a typology that considers dimensions of solidarity and sociability, as we mentioned before. So, This introduces 5 specific cultures that organizations may strive for to achieve their goals, which are customer service cultures, safety cultures, diversity cultures, sustainability cultures, and creativity cultures. I will talk about each type in some detail. 1. Customer service cultures. Usually organizations focus on creating a culture centered around service quality. So, successful implementation has been linked to positive changes in employee attitudes, resulting in higher customer satisfaction and increased sales. Examples include USA, known for its exceptional customer service culture, and the extensive training its call center reps undergo. 2. Safety cultures. Particularly crucial for industries prone to accidents or injuries, emphasizing the expected and valued nature of safe behaviors. So, positive safety cultures reduce accidents, increase safety-based citizenship behaviors, and even decrease treatment errors in medical settings. Companies like Shell, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and BP are noted for their strong safety cultures, contributing to improved safety outcomes. 3. Diversity cultures. Aimed at fostering inclusivity and diversity within the organization. Companies like Cisco Systems and the Interpublic Group focus on initiatives to address gender imbalances and create a diverse leadership team. Uber is also mentioned as undergoing efforts to transition toward a diversity culture after facing public scandals. 4. Sustainability cultures. As you know, organizations adopt missions and values that promote sustainability, appealing to the greater social good. So, sustainability cultures can enhance recruiting efforts and resonate with environmentally conscious job applicants. Like Patagonia, it is highlighted for its strong sustainability culture, emphasizing durability, repairing products, and selling to mission-driven companies. The last one is creativity cultures. Usually organizations prioritize fostering a culture that encourages creativity, influencing the quantity and quality of innovative ideas. For example, 3M's creativity culture allows workers in research and development to spend 15% of their time on independent research. Also, Cirque du Soleil is mentioned for its creativity-based culture, which has been vital to its unique shows, despite financial challenges and a change in ownership. Overall, these cultures reflect different organizational priorities and approaches, showcasing how companies strategically shape their cultures to align with specific goals and values. Okay. Also, it is important to talk about culture strength. If you do not know, organizations differ in their ability to establish a clear and strong culture that shapes employee behavior. For example, a strong culture is characterized by high consensus among employees regarding organizational norms and expectations, as well as a high intensity of behaviors consistent with those norms. In contrast, weak cultures arise when employees have conflicting views on organizational values and lack a unifying direction. So, while strong cultures can be beneficial in guiding employee attitudes and actions, they are not always synonymous with good cultures. Wells Fargo, for example, experienced a major scandal due to unethical sales practices that were influenced by their strong culture. Recognizing the positive and negative aspects of a strong culture is important.
Now, we will talk about pros and cons of a strong culture. This table compares the advantages and disadvantages of a strong culture in an organization. A strong culture is one where the shared beliefs, norms, and values of the organization are widely accepted and practiced by its members. The table can be explained as follows. Differentiates the organization from others. This is an advantage of a strong culture. It means that the organization has a unique identity and reputation that sets it apart from its competitors. A strong culture can help the organization attract and retain customers, partners, and employees who share its vision and values. Makes merging with another organization more difficult. This is also a disadvantage of a strong culture, which means that the organization may face challenges and conflicts when it tries to integrate with another organization that has a different culture. A strong culture can create barriers to communication, cooperation, and innovation across organizational boundaries. Also from the advantages is, allows employees to identify themselves with the organization. It means that the employees feel a sense of belonging and pride in working for the organization. A strong culture can motivate and inspire employees to perform well and contribute to the organization's goals. From disadvantages of strong culture is attracts and retains similar kinds of employees, thereby limiting diversity of thought. It means that the organization may have a homogeneous workforce that lacks diversity of perspectives, skills, and experiences. A strong culture can discourage employees from expressing dissenting opinions, challenging assumptions, and exploring new ideas. Another advantage is facilitates desired behaviors among employees, which means that the organization has a clear and consistent set of expectations and standards for how employees should behave and work. So, a strong culture can guide and support employees in making decisions and solving problems that align with the organization's mission and values. Regarding the disadvantages of a strong culture, for example, can be too much of a good thing if it creates extreme behaviors among employees. It means that the organization may have a rigid and inflexible culture that does not adapt to changing situations and demands. A strong culture can induce employees to engage in unethical, illegal, or harmful behaviors that harm the organization or its stakeholders. Okay, now we need to talk about culture strength and subcultures. In some cases, organizations may have subcultures that unite specific groups of employees. These subcultures can emerge due to strong leaders in certain areas or independent divisions creating their own cultures. So, subcultures are more common in large organizations and can be useful as long as they align with the overall organizational values. However, when subcultures contradict the values of the larger organization, they are termed countercultures. So, countercultures can challenge the organization's values and indicate a need for change, but may also cause a divide within the culture. For example, Whataburger, a Texas-based hamburger chain, faced a situation where its changing corporate culture clashed with that of its largest franchisee, resulting in a differentiated culture. Overall, understanding the dynamics of organizational culture, including its strengths, weaknesses, subcultures, and countercultures, is crucial for effectively managing and aligning employee behaviors with organizational goals. As you see here, this figure shows different types of organizational culture, which is the set of shared values, beliefs, and assumptions that guide how people act and interact in an organization. The figure is divided into 4 quadrants, each representing a different type of culture based on 2 dimensions: strength and diversity. We have first strength, which refers to how widely and deeply the members of an organization share the same culture. A strong culture means, as you see, that most members agree on the core values and norms and act accordingly. while a weak culture refers that there is little agreement or alignment among members, and they may have different or conflicting values and norms. Diversity refers to how much variation or difference exists within the culture of an organization. So, a diverse culture means that there are many subcultures or groups that have their own distinct values and norms, and may differ from the dominant or mainstream culture. The last one is a differentiated culture, which means that there are some subcultures or groups, but they are not very different from the dominant culture, and they share some common values and norms too. Now, we need to talk about an important topic, which is maintaining an organizational culture. As we mentioned in the previous slides, an organization's culture can be described in various ways, including through espoused values, underlying assumptions, general dimensions, e.g., solidarity or sociability, and specific types, e.g., service or safety cultures. When founders and original employees recruit new members, the culture may be tested, and if new members do not align with the culture, it may weaken or differentiate. Two processes, attraction, selection, attrition, OSA, and socialization, work together to help maintain strong cultures. The OSA framework suggests that potential employees are attracted to organizations with cultures that match their own personalities. Some applicants may choose not to apply if they perceive a lack of fit, and organizations will select candidates based on cultural compatibility, eliminating potential misfits. So, those who still don't fit may become unhappy or ineffective, leading to attrition, either voluntary or involuntary turnover. For example, companies like FedEx illustrate the OSA framework in action, actively working to create an ethical culture that attracts employees with similar values. Their executives believe that a strong ethical culture will strengthen moral behavior within the organization. So, headhunters and recruiters recognize that employees experienced in certain cultures may struggle to adapt to others, with high levels of bureaucracy being a specific concern. So, the alignment of employee personalities with organizational culture is not always perfect, leading to turnover in every organization. Therefore, organizations maintain their culture by not only leveraging attraction, selection, attrition, but also by shaping and molding new employees through socialization. Understanding an organization's culture is a gradual process that occurs over time and cannot be fully grasped by external observations alone. Socialization is the primary process through which employees acquire the social knowledge necessary to comprehend and adapt to the organization's culture. It starts before an employee joins the organization and continues until their departure. To successfully socialize into their role, employees need to learn and adapt to 6 dimensions that we will talk about in next slide. Socialization occurs in 3 distinct stages. 1. Is the anticipatory stage begins when a potential employee develops an image of what it's like to work for a company. This stage involves gathering information during the recruitment and selection process, including how employees are treated and what insiders share about the organization. Next one is the encounter stage starts when an employee joins the organization. What they do in this stage, they compare their preconceived notions from the anticipatory stage with the reality of being an insider. So, mismatches between expectations and reality can lead to reality shock, potentially resulting in employees leaving the organization. Also, minimizing reality shock is a goal of effective socialization efforts. The final stage is understanding and adaptation. Employees in this stage learn the content areas of socialization, internalize norms and expected behaviors, and align their goals and values with the organization. They develop relationships, acquire job-specific knowledge, and become productive workers. So, this stage is ongoing as organizational culture evolves. In fact, the length of the socialization process varies based on employee characteristics. Some employees progress more quickly due to their knowledge, adaptability, or ability to recognize cultural cues. So, proactive employees tend to have more positive socialization outcomes. Organizations with strong and understandable cultures may facilitate faster socialization. Research even suggests that the language used in employee emails can indicate the degree of cultural fit and speed of socialization. Okay, now we need to talk about dimensions that play a crucial role in the socialization process, influencing job performance, organizational commitment, and person-organization fit. By focusing on these dimensions during socialization, organizations can facilitate the integration of new employees into the culture, enhancing their alignment with the organization's values and goals. These dimensions show the organizational socialization process, which is the process by which newcomers learn the values, norms, expectations, and behaviors of an organization. I will talk about each dimension in detail. 1. Is goals and values. This dimension refers to the adoption of the spoken and unspoken goals and values of the organization, such as its mission, vision, ethics, and culture. Newcomers need to understand and align with these goals and values to fit in and perform well. 2. Is performance proficiency. This dimension refers to the knowledge of the roles required and the tasks involved in the job, such as the skills, abilities, standards, and expectations. Newcomers need to acquire and demonstrate these competencies to be effective and productive. 3. Is language. This dimension refers to the knowledge of the jargon that is unique to the organization, such as the acronyms, terms, slang, and symbols. New workers need to learn and use this language to communicate and collaborate with others. 4. Is history. This dimension refers to the information regarding the organization's past, such as its origins, founders, achievements, failures, and traditions. New workers need to know and appreciate this history to understand and respect the organization's identity and legacy. 5. Is politics. This dimension refers to the power and influence dynamics that exist within the organization, such as the hierarchy, authority, rules, norms, and conflicts. Newcomers need to recognize and navigate these politics to survive and thrive in the organization. Last one is people. This dimension refers to the individuals and groups that make up the organization, such as the managers, peers, mentors, subordinates, and customers. Newcomers need to interact and build relationships with these people to gain support, feedback, and guidance.
Okay, now, we will talk about significant topic, which is changing an organizational culture. Changing an established organizational culture is not easy. It is a challenging task, with a success rate estimated at less than 20%. Leaders, particularly CEOs, play a crucial role in shaping and maintaining a culture, with their leadership styles influencing organizational dynamics. So, leadership changes and mergers/acquisitions are common methods to instigate cultural change. Leadership changes involve aligning leadership styles with the desired organizational culture. CEOs with different leadership styles than the existing culture may be more effective, prompting organizations to change leadership to drive cultural shifts. For example, mergers and acquisitions significantly impact organizational culture, but the outcome is unpredictable and often challenging. Ideally, a new culture should emerge from a compromise between the merging entities, incorporating the best aspects of each. However, mergers often result in a prolonged period of operating under a differentiated culture, and achieving a strong, unified culture is rare. Normally, leadership's focus on culture during a merger can influence outcomes positively. For example, Delta and Northwest Airlines merger under then CEO Richard Anderson aimed to prevent cultural fragmentation by changing employee security badge ID numbers, eliminating distinctions between the two entities. So, merging two distinct cultures requires careful consideration as it affects employee attitudes and behaviors. Global mergers involving companies from different countries pose additional challenges due to diverse national cultures. Acquisitions, where a dominant culture prevails, demand adaptation from the acquired company. The clash of cultures, as seen in the acquisition of Anheuser-Busch by InBev and Mailboxes, etc., by UPS, can lead to difficulties. Technology acquisitions often involve the acquired company aligning with the buyer's culture, but an emerging trend, as seen in Clorox's acquisition of Burt's Bees, is to infuse the acquired company's culture into the buyer's organization. This innovative approach, termed innovation via absorption, presents challenges and necessitates careful consideration before changing fundamental organizational cultures.
Okay, now, after completing the explanation of organizational culture, we need to answer this question: how important is organizational culture? The importance of organizational culture is challenging to summarize due to its diverse types and dimensions. Different culture types have varying effects on employee attitudes, performance, and commitment, which can differ across organizations and industries. However, regardless of the specific culture type, the concept of fit is crucial for employees in any business. So, working in an organization whose culture doesn't align with one's own values can be problematic. For example, if an employee disagrees with the product or actions of their organization, it can lead to a sense of misalignment. Person-organization fit refers to the degree to which an individual's values and personality match the culture of the organization. So, individuals assess fit by considering their most prioritized values and evaluating whether the organization shares those values. In fact, two meta-analyses highlight the significance of person-organization fit for employees. When employees perceive that their values and personality align with those of the organization, they experience increased job satisfaction, reduced stress, and higher levels of trust in their managers. Therefore, these findings demonstrate the strong correlation between person-organization fit and organizational commitment, one of the outcomes in the integrative model of organizational behavior. When employees feel a fit with the organization's culture, they are more likely to develop an emotional connection to the company. But of course, the impact of fit on job performance is relatively weaker. Therefore, Person-organization fit is more closely associated with citizenship behaviors rather than task performance. Employees who perceive a good fit are more inclined to assist their colleagues and go the extra mile to contribute to the company's success.
The last slide in this chapter we need to talk about is managing socialization. As you know, organizations recognize the importance of helping new employees adapt to their culture, and there are various tactics they can employ for effective socialization. In addition to the socialization tactics, 3 common methods that organizations use to facilitate the socialization process are realistic job previews, orientation programs, and mentoring. Realistic job previews involve providing potential employees with an accurate representation of the positive and negative aspects of the job during the recruitment stage. This approach helps reduce early turnover and aligns expectations. Newcomer orientation sessions are also widely used, with 64 to 93% of organizations employing some form of orientation training. So, effective orientation programs contribute to higher levels of satisfaction, commitment, and performance among employees. Some organizations, like Airbnb and JetBlue, prioritize culture during these sessions, emphasizing its importance and encouraging employees to shape the future. Also, we have mentoring. Mentoring is another valuable practice where junior employees, protégés, establish long-lasting relationships with senior employees, mentors. So, mentoring provides social knowledge, resources, and psychological support to help protégés navigate their careers within the organization. For example, formal mentoring programs are increasingly implemented to ensure consistent support and development opportunities for all newcomers. Also, examples such as Cisco Systems, Airbnb, and Morgan Stanley demonstrate the benefits of these practices in terms of employee retention, culture alignment, and skill development.
Okay, we have reached the end of the lecture and the end of the chapter. This is the last chapter we have in this semester. The next lecture on Wednesday will be a discussion. I will ask multiple choice questions about this chapter, and we will answer them together. Okay, is there any question?